YouTube has continued to attack alternative media by demonetizing most of our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, please visit our Amazon store or our Patreon page. Links below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt Channel. And what we're looking at right now are the top trends on Twitter in the United States. Now, if you notice here, you got Eli Manning, North Korea, Porg from Star Wars, Angela Lansbury. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. Not Angela. Not Angela Lansbury. No, not Angela Lansbury. We're fine. She's trending because she said some stuff that people got mad at. And when I say people, I mean like feminists and social justice warriors and the regressive leftists and those annoying people you really want to avoid all the time that are perpetually outraged over everything anyone ever says, regardless of context or, I don't know, upbringing or backgrounds or things like that. What we have here is Angela Lansbury, 92 years old, 8 years away from cracking that centennial, saying that women who have been sexually harassed can be blamed for making themselves look attractive. Now, the Daily Mail headline here is a little bit on the salacious side. It's not entirely what she said or what she meant, but you can already see why there's frothing of the mouths and why people are angrily clacking on their keyboards or breaking their screens at Starbucks while sucking on a latte, trying to get out why they mad about a 92-year-old woman's view about sexual harassment in the workplace. Keep in mind, Angela Lansbury been in Hollywood a long time. So she would know a thing or two. She's got some stories, I guarantee you. But let's see what she has to say here. Dame Angela Lansbury asserted that women must sometimes take blame for sexual harassment cases. The veteran actress, 92, argued that making an effort to look attractive has ultimately backfired for women, and it explains where we are today. To an extent, she might have a point. I mean, well, she says there are two sides to every coin, which is always true. There's always two sides to every story and always three versions of the truth. Your truth, my truth, and the actual truth. But in this case, the two sides to every coin thing is an interesting kind of thought to go down. So it says we have to own up to the fact that women, since the immemorial, have gone out of their way to make themselves attractive. Now, oftentimes, feminists would chalk this up to being about the patriarchy. This is how you survive in a man's world. You have to make yourself look as attractive as humanly possible. Stand out. Peacock the crowd a little bit. Get their attention. That's how doors open. Funny thing, when it comes to attracting a female mate, in many cases, it's the exact same, but for men. I'm not even kidding you. There's literally a pickup artist term called peacocking that is taken from the term peacocking, and it's not necessarily done in traditional standards of beauty all the time, but it's that, making that case for like, I'm the best person here, so it's something to consider. And she says, and unfortunately it has backfired on us. And this is where we are today. We must sometimes take blame. Women. I really do think that. I don't know if I would argue this is where we are today in terms of the sexual harassment angle of it is simply because women have tried to make themselves look pretty and therefore it's backfired. I don't know if I agree with that 100%. I don't think there's malicious nature in what she's saying, but Hollywood in and of itself has always prided, especially in the last like 30, 40 years, on finding like, the young, well, no, maybe not even 30, 40, we're talking the entire time. They wanted to find the young new star. And that idea has always kind of gone through the generations or gone through the decades. And it's kind of a base business model. Work with someone while they're young and hot and attractive. They hit a certain point, kick them to the curb. Then they come back in 15 years once they've kind of gone past their prime, but now they can play the mom and grandmother roles and things like that. So it says here that the veteran star said women should not have to risk sexual assault when they make themselves look attractive, and argued there is no excuse for such behavior. So that's where it's a little bit on the back and forth side. She's saying you have to take the blame for harassment, but you should never experience it. Is that like saying if you leave your car window down and someone steals your purse, like, you should blame yourself because you left your car window? That's kind of the analogy I think she's going for there. Odd analogy, but again, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. I think the idea there is that like she comes from a more modest conservative time, right? She's, you know, a modest conservative British actress, not conservative in the general, what we know as conservatism today, but the modest approach to it. You know, I'm not going to show my ankles. I don't want any men, you know, in their pants, and just being very prim and proper and British. And now it's an entirely different world. One of the best examples of this in terms of feature film would be something like Mr. Holland's Opus, where it covers the 4 decades that Richard Dreyfuss spent teaching music at this school. And it starts off, I think, in the 1950s or 1960s, maybe 30 years. It was 30 years. It starts off in the 60s and goes all the way to the 90s, but goes through the different generations. And so you get the idea of kind of how things have changed and how things adapt and evolve over time. So, and I think that maybe the idea of beauty has kind of been like the show more, not less, more makeup, more looking like somebody else. Don't be yourself while still trying to be something. And I think that's maybe the mindset that she's referring to. Now, she does say here, although it's awful to say that we can't make ourselves look as attractive as possible without being knocked down and raped. Yeah. It is awful to say that. She added, but should women be prepared for this? No, they shouldn't have to be. There's no excuse for that. Now, she goes on here to say, sexually inappropriate behavior in the workplace will have to stop now. Also saying, I think a lot of men, they must be very worried at this point. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are pretty worried at this point because it's been a couple months of hashtag Me Too. Accusations are coming out all the time. People's careers are ending. And who knows what's going to happen next. I don't know. And then the article goes on to talk, seriously, the rest of the article literally is just recapping the entirety of the Harvey Weinstein situation. But when you look at Angela Lansbury, right, you got to kind of understand this woman has been through a lot, seen a lot, done a lot. Okay. So she's got probably an interesting take on it. But like I said, she's also kind of a posh, prim, conservative Brit. I might have screwed those terms up. That's fine. You guys get what I'm trying to say. That's what she's experienced. But she also starred in the 1944 film Gaslight, which gave the term gaslighting, which she's kind of doing here with this. I don't know. I'm not mad at her for what she said. I do think sexual harassment is a problem. I do think that attacking women based upon the way that they look for dressing either conservative or dressing less than conservative is dumb. I think women should be able to dress how they want. I think they should. If men can dress how they want, women can dress how they want. The only thing I don't want to see are like public displays of like sex. That's it, really. And if you don't feel like you should walk around in a bikini, maybe it's not the best idea to do so. I wouldn't do it in a thong. Nobody wants to see that. You know, I still think that there are public levels of decency, but it's kind of like a flex line, you know? That's the way I personally see it. I'm not mad at her. I see why people are mad at her. The people that are outraged, they might have a decent point this time because the comments do seem very... It doesn't really feel like so innocuous as it does like... She hasn't really, I don't know. I don't know. I like part of me feels because listen, okay, because of what I do, and I generally tend to criticize social justice warriors. So when they are outraged over something, I usually take the contrarian side, irregardless of the point, just to point out that they're always mad. But this is a situation where I'm not saying I agree with them, but I do understand their argument more so than probably with some other ones. You know, I don't know. It's like, I've got a daughter coming, so mark that on your usual Monday Night Bingo. Just a couple weeks she'll be here, and I'm thinking more about that, you know, and it's like when she gets to a certain age, like, you know, I'm going to want her to be comfortable. I don't want her to dress like she's going to be going to Jersey Shore or anything else like this. But it's like, I want her to be comfortable and to be feeling good in her own skin. Right. And, you know, like if someone doesn't like that and they say certain things to her, I don't want her to feel that it's her fault. I don't want her to feel that she should blame herself if she ever gets it. Because while I feel that the problems to some extent are not as bad as others have made them out to be, to some extent, they still happen. There's no denying that. And so as a result of that, I want there to always be back on the person who did it, not the person who received it. So while, you know, I might sit there and criticize someone for complaining about being bullied online or something, or like, you know, hey, we all deal with this crap, whatever. I'm not telling that person, like, you don't need to, you know, like, you don't blame yourself for getting these comments. Do something about the comments, like be proactive in the situation. So I'm not blaming a person for that. So I would never blame a woman who got catcalled and didn't like it for wearing that certain thing. I think many years ago, I think what I would say in that point is I would say something along the lines of like, and I think maybe this is where she's coming from. This is just my take on it. If you leave the house wearing something provocative, and you know it's provocative, you dress a certain way because it's provocative, you know that where you're going or where you're going to be, this is going to be your peacock moment. I think it's a realistic expectation that people are going to look, gawk, stare, or say something. And I think having that realistic expectation in the forefront of your mind while you're dressing yourself, and this goes for any gender, would go further into tackling this kind of situation versus not. Being fully aware of how you are impacting your general surroundings, even though ultimately it shouldn't matter. You still, while looking a certain way, cannot control how others are going to respond to it. So that is something to consider. I'm not blaming anyone. Just saying, I think it should be a level of personal responsibility. But on the subject of Hollywood and women who do go to Hollywood with the explicit intent of dolling themselves up to play certain parts, it is part of a game that will never end. And so when it comes to sexual harassment or sexual assault or sexual abuse or the casting couch stuff, I'm not in favor of any of that. I understand when you go to LA and you want to act or you want to do whatever, you are playing a part. You are playing a part. You are playing a part when you walk into an audition. You are playing a part when you get headshots done. You are playing a part all the time. Whether that part is you or a version of you, you are playing that part. And I think that might be what she's talking about, is because maybe in her mind, the way that the entertainment industry works, the way that Hollywood works, the way that the system operates is that it's one big jumble. You're always playing something else. And over time, you change who you are and it can become something. And maybe that's what she's referring to. I don't know. It's an odd thing to discuss. And the comments here should be very interesting. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here, to be honest with you. I think that people who are mad at her for what she said should be more disappointed versus mad. And the people that are vehemently defending her because they want to get back at the other side should look at what she said, how she said it, and apply it to the larger scheme of things concerning Hollywood right now. And then maybe kind of come together in some middle understanding, perhaps. Or I could just be talking out my ass. Who knows? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.